we're into Week 7 of Prospect Basketball Weekly, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings and Mount Prospect. I'm your host, Jack Ankeny, and Coach Camarillo is back, so thanks for coming on, Coach.
For sure.
So last week against Wheeling, you guys held them to 36 points. What do you think the main focus defensively was in that game?
I think our guys and Coach Rathie in particular had a great game plan. Wheeling's got some of the best shooters in the East, and so what we did was just try and keep them out of rhythm. Threw a lot of different looks at him throughout different positions and points of the game, and I think really kept him off balance and just tried to force him into tough shots.
Okay. So you've said before that you kind of hope that that your guys' defense turns into offense. How do you think that idea kind of showed itself against Wheeling?
Yeah, we got a lot of that, which helped. You know, Wheeling plays a pretty good zone in the half court, and so tempo would have been a lot slower had we just relied on half court offense. And so the different defensive looks that created turnovers, which then created transition opportunities, allowed us to get the game in our favor pretty quickly. And I think our guys really relished in that, and we hope to sort of keep that going.
Okay. So John Kreidler led the way with you guys for 17 points in that game. How important has his emergence and versatility been this year for the team?
Yeah, John's been great. You know, he's our we have a lot of juniors who are contributing.
Yeah.
John is our one junior starter, and he's really filled the role nicely, especially with the last two games this past week with Fremd and Wheeling. You know, John's led us in scoring both games, and you know, he's ready to shoot. He's ready to finish inside. Teams are really gearing to try and limit David, and I think what we've done with John when we put him in ball screen action, as well as when we put him in and around the hoop, he finishes extremely well inside, and he's been shooting the ball well from deep.
Yeah. Okay, so throughout the season, how do you think the depth of the team has kind of emerged as an important factor, not knowing that you don't have to rely on one guy to lead you in scoring game to game?
Yeah, and we haven't had that a lot in the past. You know, we've oftentimes had a predominant leading scorer and then maybe a couple other guys. You know, this year we've had multiple guys lead us in scoring. You know, almost every game we've got 3, 4, a couple of times 5 guys in double digits. And so it really shows, I think, the selflessness of this team. Guys come in, whether it's spot minutes or whether it's extended minutes, the ball's moving around the floor. Like we said, we're trying to create turnovers and then get offense off our defense, and we're starting to see that a lot of guys are contributing. It's great to see.
Okay, so the win against Wheeling gave you guys a 2-game lead in the division. How do you describe the team's mindset going forward?
Next game, there's really nothing. We understand now, second half of the East, you know, with Elk Grove coming in here, that every single game, that's the way I tell our guys, you know, if you're playing for a championship, especially in your division, every single game you have to treat like the championship game. You know, you can't wait for someone to lose, you know, that you go out to win it. You know, our assistant principal, Frank Mirandola, sort of came up with this phrase, you know, it's not that we have nothing to lose, it's that we have everything to win. And so you'll see ETW on a lot of stuff, and I give Mira a lot of credit for that because it is a shift in mindset how you approach it. And I think really from almost the beginning of the season, this team has been chasing something, and I hope that energy and that enthusiasm continues, and I'm pretty sure it will, just being around them every day.
Okay. Do you think kind of being in a similar situation last year, battling for the East title, the MSL, has kind of given the team a little bit of experience, though maybe you don't have a ton of guys back from last year?
Yeah.
Just kind of giving them...
Well, I think the experience that we've had through the first half of the season is, I can now say, and our guys, they're an experienced team.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through, 16 varsity games now, a handful of JV games. You know, guys are tested. They've been in rough environments. They've been in high-pressure tournament games. You know, we've seen a lot, and more importantly, we've seen almost every type of defense thrown at us. Yeah. And so right now, I feel like our team is experienced, and we are in mid-season form, and we're starting to run into postseason form. And it's right about now that you want your team starting to build towards, you know, that the most important month of the year, and we're right within that window of 4 or 5 weeks prior to, you know, trying to clinch an MSL title, but then obviously moving on to the state tournament. And I think our guys are sensing that urgency, and we're seeing the results in practice and in games.
All right, thank you so much, Coach Camarillo. And next up will be an interview with junior guard Tom Johansson.
Welcome back to Prospect Basketball Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Mount Prospect. I'm here with junior guard Tom Johansson. Tom, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
As one of the team's backup guards, what do you do to bring energy off the bench?
To bring energy off the bench, I mostly just try to bring defensive intensity, and offensively I look for open shots and try to get my teammates the ball too.
How would you describe your role on the team?
I think my role often changes from game to game. I'm not always looking to score because we got a lot of scorers on our team. I think I'm mostly there to move the ball and try to get my teammates shots.
Playing with guys like David Swidera and Tim Lessenhop, how have they helped you grow as a player?
Yeah, they've helped a lot. I mean, I love those guys. They're basically mentors to me, and in practice every day they help me a lot just watching them play.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from them?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is how to lead a team. I mean, they both play point guards, and that's also my position. So they just taught me a lot about leadership.
Yeah. Heading into the game against Elk Grove on Friday, what will be the main focus offensively to get open looks?
I mean, to be honest, they don't really have the personnel to guard us man to man. So we'll just try to be looking to attack all game.
Absolutely.
And if they play zone, we'll just move the ball and look for open threes.
All right. That's all we have for Tom. Stay tuned for a preview of Week 7 and against Elk Grove with Coach Cameronella.
Welcome back, everyone, to Week 7 of Prospect Basketball Weekly, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings and Mount Prospect. Coach Cameronella is back to preview this Friday's game against Elk Grove. So, when you played them earlier in the year, you won by 24 points. What do you think will be the number one thing the team will need to execute Friday in order to repeat that performance?
I think first thing we'll have to do is take care of the ball. We continually are working on getting high percentage shots.
Yeah.
And in addition to just really trying to put the mark on the game early with our defensive pressure and rotation. And we've still got a couple days of practice left to get that locked in, and it'll be nice to return home. You know, we haven't been home in a little bit, so it'll be good to be back.
Okay. So how do you think playing them earlier in the season will help the team with this matchup?
Yeah, in the second round of the East, we get to see everybody a second time. So this is what we always say. This is really where you're measured, because now both teams really know each other. You really know player personnel. You know how teams are playing. You know, some teams have put in a zone. Some teams have gone back to trapping man. So there's some mid-season adjustments that guys will get used to. But both teams, all teams in the division know what to expect. And it's really about who can sort of impart their will on the game early. That's what we hope to do.
Okay. So what are you trying to do to prepare the team mentally to not have any sort of letdown or slow start this week?
Yeah, yesterday in practice was a perfect example. As we went full scrimmage, full game. We haven't played since Friday, and so it's a matter of, with the whole week layoff, it was important for us to really set the tone to start this week. With us having Monday off school, and so we did. We did a full game. We used the clock, fouls, everything else that goes with it, and we filmed it. And Rathy and I are going to break down film with the guys, because we really felt that it was important that we stay in that attack mode. And I thought our guys competed extremely well in practice yesterday, and we're going to really sort of push that energy forward as we prep for Friday.
Okay. So you said a couple weeks ago, I think against Rolling Meadows, that you think the team has yet to play their best complete game. Do you think that's happened yet, or do you think this week is a good opportunity to do that?
It's another, when I say complete game, it's almost like an unattainable goal. To ask any team to play 32 minutes of perfect basketball. It's always what you're reaching for. The idea of what a perfect game is, I've never even sort of put the stats out there of what I think it would look like. What I mean is that there are on occasions where we'll have 2 or 3 offensive possessions where we make multiple mistakes. We're trying to eliminate those. I think defensively, if a team scores 2 or 3 times in a row, that's something else we're looking to try and avoid. So those are really the spots when we go back and watch film, or even when we're in game. Those are the things that we're trying to see, is that if we have a poor offensive possession, are we getting a better one the next time? Or if we get beat on the defensive end, are we getting a stop the next time? And that's what we really want to see, is just consecutive scores on behalf of our team, and then consecutive stops on the other end.
Okay. So this will be your guys' first home game back at Prospect since December 21st. What will it be like to be back at Prospect?
Yeah, there's nothing like Gene Walker, and the guys have played extremely well in Gene Walker, and we got 3 straight games at home. And we got Elk Grove, we got Glenbrook South coming in next Tuesday, and then we got BG a week from Friday. And so a really nice way to sort of end out January. And I think, you take advantage of home court, you take advantage of the field house that we got here, and really try and put ourselves in position to compete for a division title.
All right, thanks so much, Coach Cameronella. That should do it for Week 7 of Prospect Basketball Weekly, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, and we'll see you next week.